One. Oh, we're being recorded. Okay, I've got to change my whole spiel now.
Sorry, my bad. I meant to ask ahead of time if that's all right.
Yeah, please. So I'll just keep going. So yeah, bike parking lots and these things, you know, just imagine a parking lot full of bicycles, not a parking lot full of cars, not a parking lot full of empty space, but these lots that are just full of these beautiful bicycles. Here's another one. This is not a very high resolution one. Apparently this is the largest one in the world. It's in Holland. You can see thousands of bikes there. And since we're in Maine, people, you know, will complain, oh, well, what do you do when it snows? Well, here's what they do when it snows. They ride their bikes to the train station. This is the Uppsala train station in Sweden. And I did, you know, I didn't see it in the snow like this, but this was actually the parking or the train or the bike parking lot that I saw that just really, you know, it blew my mind. So this stuff, this is possible. We can create bikeable, walkable cities, and trains are an integral component of that. So just a few images here. So just to that point, trains are crucial to walkable and bikeable cities. Mainly just removing cars from the road. We can make all of our roads more bicycle and pedestrian friendly by getting those moving death machines off of them. People often ride their bikes to the train and load them on board and then go to their destination. More people choose to walk and not own vehicles, and trains are accessible for people with disabilities and mobility issues. Trains are intersectional. They're a critical component in addressing the housing crisis, more accessibility to other communities with different housing options, more interconnected communities. So we don't feel like, you know, I'm in the state legislature and I'll tell you, it is really frustrating to just hear how much sort of, I don't know what the word is. There's people around the state don't have a lot of love for Portland. I feel like that's because they feel like they're separate from Portland. Portland is somehow separate from the rest of the state of Maine instead of you know, the economic hub, and we're all Mainers. And, you know, if we have more interconnected communities, maybe we can start to overcome that narrative. They're also a critical component in fighting climate change with low and no carbon emission vehicles. And, you know, I think with this heat wave that we're experiencing across the entire Northern Hemisphere, you know, it's beyond time to act on climate, and trains are just, there's no getting around the fact that we have to address climate, and trains are a big part of that. So they're accessible for transportation for people with low incomes. You know, you don't have to spend an arm and a leg on gas. You don't have to spend money on your insurance. You don't have to, you know, pay the excise tax on it every year. You can just use it. And we can have rail and trail. We can have the best of both worlds. So this isn't one or the other. This is yes and both. So that's what we're working on. Again, Portland is changing. I don't necessarily think always for the better, but you know, exciting stuff. Maybe this could be exciting. You know, we're looking at the Rue Institute. You know, that track, the St. Lawrence and Atlantic line goes right past there. And we're going to need options for them to get to the peninsula. You know, they're planning on building this massive campus with all these different things, and you know that track goes right past there. If they're going to build this thing, let's give them a route right into Portland. And what could be a better route than that train track that's already there? So that's what we're talking about. And along with that, so you know, the main thing here is that we're asking the city to support a resolution to study the feasibility and effects of having light rail service on the Maine-owned St. Lawrence and Atlantic line. So that's the big problem. The big issue is that we just want the city to take a look at this objectively and tell us what the effects are going to be. So far, there's been mixed reaction from within the city. The state legislature has supported a study of this entire corridor, the entire track from Portland, from Ocean Gateway is where mile 0.1 is, all the way to Auburn. So some, 26, 30 miles. And the state has supported a study, the legislature supported a study, but for some reason the city isn't keen on looking at that last 1.2 miles, which is, from Portland Ocean Gateway to where the bridge is. So that's really what we're asking, is just to have an objective look at it. Auburn supports the study, and that's basically the gist of it. We could get into a lot of detail here, but you can sign up. I'll put a link here if you're interested in the chat. And if anybody has any questions on this, just like what your concerns might be with this or your questions, I'll try to answer. There's that form you can sign up on if you want to get more involved in this effort. And I might call on Tony because he's really knowledgeable about this issue, but just want to open it up for questions and comments. So thanks for hearing me. Yeah, Steven.
So my question is, what is the cost of this going to be of a train from Portland to from Auburn, and what's the cost of the last mile and a half, whatever it is, versus just going to the Row Institute area?
Right. So we don't know what the last 1.2 miles, what that cost is going to be, because we haven't looked at it yet. And Tony, if you want to jump in on that, as far as like the cost, the state, the DOT commissioned a study, and we don't necessarily think their figures are reflective of what the actual cost would be. I think what I've realized in my time in the legislature is anytime there's an idea that a specific agency is sort of opposed to, the state agency, they'll give very inflated numbers for what the cost would be, and that's a great way to just kill something in the crib. So I don't know that we agree with what their numbers were. We have,
So what did the Maine DOT say it was going to cost?
Tony,
The Maine Department of Transportation current estimate done by VHP Consultants estimates the whole project at $241 million. An engineering firm from Philadelphia that we've engaged puts that number about $31 million, plus the cost of reconstruction of the bridge, which is estimated to be about $21 million. And about $500 million to expand the highway and go to Gorham. But that's a different story, right? Because all we're talking about is transportation.
That's a different direction.
Transportation.
It's a different direction, though.
Oh, right. That's right. It's a mountain division. So, yes, Stephen, the cost has not actually been demonstrated, but I think the key word here that Representative Lookner didn't mention is that we are putting a demonstration project together. We actually have been offered one of the most unique railroad trains in the country right now. It's a battery electric train. It's been converted to battery electric. It's a European train that I've actually been down to test drove it. It's in Pennsylvania right now. And the owner is looking to introduce them into the United States. And he is working with us he thinks the Portland to Auburn market and that route itself is a great place for a demonstration project. Our issue is, well, Stephen, as you know, and many of you, the rest of you know, is that, I'm a firm believer that the economics of this far exceed any transportation project that the state is currently proposing. But we believe that by putting a demonstration train on the St. Lawrence and Atlantic right now, and that's what we're doing right now, we can more firmly establish not only the cost, but answer a lot of questions for a lot of people, rather than having a consultant known to inflate cost, provide answers to questions that we might not agree with. And again, Grayson has it is that we can bring a train here. We can bring it here. It's ready to come. We can start running from the Rue Institute up to Auburn. Then we're going to figure out how to get to Lewiston. That's all next steps. But if we can't bring it into Portland, And at the current time, over the past year or two, the city of Portland has pushed back on the idea of bringing a train in to Portland Ocean Gate. Then it's not worth doing. We won't have our ridership. And so we're trying to see if Portland would do an objective analysis on bringing a light rail, and I think the key word here is light rail, into downtown Portland. I did ask Grayson to share a short YouTube video with you. The problem with Zoom is you can't hear it.
Yeah,
So if you'd
I'll
like to
share
know-
that. I'll share that link with everybody. Sure. Jared, I see your hand raised.
Hi. So I'm a big user of the Downeaster, and I was wondering why, or like kind of what the argument is behind developing this separate piece of infrastructure rather than leveraging what we already have to maybe relocate the terminal back to Union Station in Portland, so that it's more centrally located, and kind of like using that infrastructure that we already have to get trains closer to Lewiston, Auburn, and then branching off.
Right. Well, I think, it's sort of a both thing. We can do both. And the idea is that these tracks exist, and that we could use them. These are state-owned tracks, and their highest and best use is for light rail, is what our thinking is. And it's already, it goes to a different part of Portland. I think there's that argument that when folks are commuting into Portland, if they're making a decision whether they're going to drive or take a public transit option, is where is this train actually bringing people? And if it's bringing people off Peninsula out to like Thompson's Point, it would be great if we could get them back to Union Station, but then from there it's still kind of a hike to get downtown. But if this train brings people right down to where Lex is and where Sun Life is, and right down to where it's all happening. So
if I could, Jared, say, as we all monitor the expenses on transportation and the current push to move the train station from Thompson's Point, you are correct in saying the most economical solution would be to put the new Amtrak station at the former Union Station Plaza. We could talk a little bit more about that. Be very economical, and it would also connect to another state of Maine owned track, which is the Mountain Division, and you could have cross-platform connections there and use the Mountain Division for a light rail service out as far as Standish, which would probably address the Main Turnpike issue that we're all thinking about right now. But the infrastructure exists. It can be used for trains. It can address a lot of the issues that Grayson mentioned that we all know, and especially the congestion in downtown Portland. And it can bring commuters, Portland, Falmouth, Yarmouth, Cumberland, Pineland, Auburn. By the way, that track goes all the way to Montreal. But right now, we're just talking about interurban light rail.
Thank you.
Hey, we're just here to, let you know we're doing this, we're moving forward, we're asking the city of Portland, but this is a really cool thing, very exciting. It's a whole, I don't want to say it's a new world. It's a new world to the city of Portland, but we can do this. And if you want to step up for climate change, come talk to us. There's a hotel bar across the street from the Portland Ocean Gate. The AC Hotel's got a nice little bar. It's got a great happy hour. And every Friday we're down there having a little discussion and $5 beers. So if you ever want to stick your head in on a Friday afternoon to the AC Hotel, come on down. We'll chat a little bit about what we're up to.
rails and
I don't wanna
ales.
take the rails and ales. I don't want to take up all your time. I just thank you, Grayson, for sharing what we're up to and for your support. And again, we're here to talk about something wicked cool, wicked exciting, and very possible. And to Stephen's comments, very economically feasible. So again, thank you very much.
Hey, Tony, for the note taker here, what's the name of that bar again, you said? And what time?
The
so I can get in the
AC
notes?
Hotel.
All right.
Oh, the AC hotel. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. And what time does that usually happen?
We're usually down there by 5:30. Goes from 5. I think happy hour is 4 to 7. We're down there from 5:30 to about 7.
Okay, thanks. I'll get
And
that in
and if
notes.
you were and the Portland Ocean Gate facility down there where the narrow gauge operates, it's coal burning train. No, when there's a big parking lot that nobody parks in. So if you do have to drive into Portland, a lot of people don't know that you can pull right into that parking lot over there.
That's my secret parking spot, Tony.
You're talking about the dirt parking lot or the?
Now that big round one, shaped round on the, it's on the water. There's parking. Unless there's some big event even if it's a big event at Ocean Gate, they park on the other side. It's a big empty parking lot. So just hold that thought. You can't park there all day, but you certainly come over for a beer.
It's going to be a beautiful parking lot full of bikes when we're done with it. All right, everybody. Thanks for letting me share.
Thank you both so much for coming and sharing what's going on in the world of trains. Looking forward to seeing how this progresses. And we will definitely share this presentation on our group message board and share the link to your form.
And while I got you all beyond our email list that you share with me, thank you for all you do, man. I follow that email, constantly. There's great discussions, great things. So Bike Ped does a good thing in Portland. Thank you for what you guys do.
Thank you.